Right, how are we all handling the cold spell? I'm just going to do a quick one on the frost protection. We've been having few frosts the last couple of days, and I think that's going to sort of settle down next week, but I think Saturday night might be the cooler night here. I think the lowest we've gone down to is -2. We're normally around sort of, last couple of nights it's been around 0 or maybe -1, but we did get a -2 a couple of nights back. Anyway, so we're just going to have a look at the sort of temporary measures and frost protection we've put in place until it gets a bit milder again. So we're looking at the Arid bed here. This is obviously covered up for the winter. This is more of a to keep dry rather than frost protect, but it does stop the frost from landing on the plant, so that sort of helps in that sense. And as we can see, it's not totally sealed. There's an opening at the back for airflow, so it's going to get a little bit of rain coming that comes at a certain angle, but in general it's pretty dry in there and everything's looking happy. The Braheo Marta and the bigger Agave seem happy enough at the moment. Right, so moving on to the new Power Jabaya. As you may have seen in the previous video, we've got a big fleece bag over it, and I did put some, I guess it's weed control blanket around the bottom portion just to keep the heat in, and that works quite well because it's black. It sort of absorbs the heat as well, so that kind of helps. Beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. It's about officially 6 degrees, but it does feel quite pleasant in the sun. So obviously with these big fleece bags with the zips, they're quite handy. You can open them up and let a bit of air flow in there, because they do actually heat up quite a bit in the sun. And I don't know if we can see that there. It says 15.3 degrees in there, so that does work like a little greenhouse in effect. That do warm up, so we do definitely want to, during the day, have that open to let some air flow out. You don't want the humidity and, you know, from the extremes of cold. I mean, we got down to about 1 degree in there, and I will say, I talked about having the heat cable wrapped around the trunk on this one, or at the bottom of the trunk at soil level, but that hasn't turned up yet. So I have got a little greenhouse tube heater in there, which is doing a good job of just keeping the frost out, so it's frost free inside the bag there. Obviously I zip it up at night, no problem. Right, so Tetrapanics, we've seen, like I say, a couple of frosts, and the leaves did wilt down, but in the sun they've pumped back up again. But I'm sure eventually they will succumb to the cold. So we've got the big, or my biggest Bootia odorata here, and I've got a big fleece bag on this one. This is a 2 meter by 2 meter fleece bag, drawstring, and again zip at the front, so we can open it up during the day and just zip it up at night. So that's all sort of protected from the worst of the frosts in there. Like I say, these are hardy palms, but no harm in keeping them looking the best that you can. And we've got a Torbay Dazzler right next to it, so that gets zipped up as well. Yeah, it's quite a good sized bag there. So the centre bed, where we took a lot of damage on the smaller palms last year, I just got the portion of the polytunnel plastic over there, so I just made a sort of frame, wooden frame, and secured the plastic to that just to keep the frosts off. And that does again heat up a little bit during the day, but open at the sides. So, and we've got the other Bootia here. So this one I actually tied the fronds up because I had a smaller fleece bag. This is only 1 metre by 2 metres. So I tied the fronds up, and you can leave the fronds tied up all winter as long as there's good airflow. So again, zip at the front, open that up, not a problem. Zip it up at night, just while this period while we're getting the frosts, and then I'll take the fleece bags totally off until we get another cold patch again. Right, so we already had a shelter over these 2 palms. So we've got the Livingstoner chinensis and the Nico palm here. So we've got the shelter over the top. I didn't really want to tie up the fronds on the Livingstoner just because the teeth on them are a bit nasty. So I have put a bit of polycarbonate with the leaves that are sticking out from the frame, and a bit of fleece there, and a fleece bag over the Nico. And I have wrapped the trunk with fleece as well. So hopefully that'll be enough to keep it going. Like I say, we've only had -2, not a big deal, should be okay. Another fleece bag here. In this one we've got the cordyline superstar, so one of the more tender cordylines. So I've tied the leaves up and put a fleece bag over. It has got a zip on the front, this one, but for the few days that it's going to be on there, I ain't worried about unzipping that. And plus, it didn't really get much sun, this one, because it's in the shade most of the day. It only gets a bit of half-hour morning sun sort of thing. So yeah, as soon as we're into next week and we're clear of frost, all the bags will be coming off. Right, so obviously we've got the queen palm underneath the lean-to shelter there. That seems happy enough at the moment. We've got some smaller tender palms as well, so we'll see if that's enough just to get them through winter. Alright, so let's finish up on another palm which some of you might be growing, which aren't quite so tough. Need a little help getting through winter. So this is the Washingtonia robusta. So I have tied the fronds up so the fronds are sort of pointing upwards, so to stop the frost settling on the fronds and such. That sort of, the worst of the frost will pass by it rather than settle on it. But we have got this portion of polytunnel which I saved from the polytunnel I'm not going to be using, and we've got a bit of clear tarp on top, and so that's just giving it some overhead protection at the same time as keeping the damp out as well. But again, totally open, good airflow, should be enough to get it through winter. I just need to get another big fleece bag really, to if we do get a really cold spell, just to chuck over the fronds to keep them looking nice. So we have secured this frame by way of big dahlia stakes. So these are 1.5 inch square, and knocked them into the ground, then tie wrapped to the frame. So we've got a stake either side, and then what I've done is, whether you'll see it on camera or not I don't know, but I've actually put wire to the top of the frame there and wired it to the fence with a heavy duty hook screwed into the fence, so that should be quite stable in the worst of the winds. I was going to dig out this Aeonium, but then I thought, now we'll see what happens. So I've just put literally one of these small pop-up greenhouse bags over the top, and we'll see if that pulls through or not. I mean, I've had winters, I've had several winters where Aeoniums have been out and they've been absolutely fine. Did lose a lot last winter, but I have got plenty of cuttings, so that's just a little experiment, let's call it. Right, so let's finish up on the Phoenix canariensis. No protection on that. We did have one night, or one morning I came out, and we did have a bit of the old cells expanding, and you know, you get like that multi-patchy colour look to the fronds. A lot of palms will do that when it gets a frost. Generally that goes after they warm up again or within a couple of days. But this one is, we can see that middle frond is looking quite yellow. Well, that is perfectly natural because it's still trying to grow, but it can't quite pull the nutrients up with the cooler temperatures of the ground. Soil temperatures aren't really warm enough for it to pull up the full nutrients. So even though it's, you know, we're getting quite nice warm days, nights are cold, the soil's ground level is quite cold now, so even though the air temperature is telling it wants to grow, it just can't pull the nutrients, so that's going to be a bit yellow. That will green up when everything warms up at the beginning of spring, hopefully. But yeah, that's really sort of standing out to be quite yellow, but like I say, no concern there. That's perfectly normal. Right, so like I say, I think we've got one more frost to come here on the Suffolk coast, which is Saturday night. Could be the cool one, and hopefully after that it should get a little bit milder, or definitely next week anyway. Right, so we can see at this time of year how low the sun is in the sky, and this is exactly why I call this side the shade border, because in the winter that gets very little sun, and that's all. The sun is all this side of the garden, sort of to centre to that extreme of the garden. So this is why it's best to have the more tender plants this side, so you do get the benefit of a bounce back during the day when you get a nice clear day like this, and nice sunny, compared to, you know, it may well be, if I had a thermometer over there, maybe a good few degrees difference in the sun just compared to the shade, obviously. Right, so that is just what I've done, sort of temporary measures for the cold patch. And oh yeah, just going to mention, I did have a table and chairs out. Instead of putting them away, I've just put, this is one of the, like a glass table, so I thought, well, let's put it to use. So we've got some sort of more tender cord lines there, so we put the table over the top again, just to stop that sort of the cold, damp frosts landing, and hopefully that might be enough to get them through in good condition. So yeah, just again, use things to hand. Right, let's leave it there. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.